This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. I am salty. I am a nerd. I am a salty nerd. And you're listening to the Salty Nerd Podcast. Stay salty, my friends.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Salty Nerd Podcast. We're going to be talking about the new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, and it's going to be heavy spoilers. So we're not going to mince words. We're going to talk about the entire movie from start to finish. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it, and then you can come back and watch our video if you haven't seen it yet. I am joined, as always, by my fantastic panel of nerds. Matt Vader's here.
Hey, bud.
What's up?
I'm here.
You ready to
We're ready to get into this Batman stuff.
dig into this?
I've been waiting to talk about this movie for like 7.5 years.
This is the first movie I've gone to the Thursday night opening night in a long time.
Was there people?
It was packed.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was packed. Yeah.
That's got to be weird, right?
Very strange.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like it's officially
Movies are back.
We're back. I think
the
we're back.
blockbuster is back.
Yeah. I mean, it happened once in a while. There was a couple movies.
I think it started with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But,
I think Spider-Man paved the way. And then people were like, oh, there's a Batman movie out?
Mm-hmm.
We're going for it.
all right.
I'm also here with Jude.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Thank you for the glasses.
Oh, you're welcome.
I look dope. I look like the Riddler.
You look good.
You look like Alexis.
I'm a little annoyed because I think they look better on you than they do on me.
I look good and everything. Matthew Kadish is here. Welcome, sir.
So, fun fact, back when we first started doing this podcast out of Alex's kitchen, one of our first episodes was talking about the teaser reveal of Robert Pattinson in the bat suit.
Have we been waiting that long for this movie?
3 years, yeah. Sounds about right.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny to finally get to see this movie that we basically started the podcast talking about and speculating about and all
Robert
that, all that stuff.
Pattinson.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, me too. Really?
Well, that's cool. Right on. All right. So, as we do, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to lube up a little bit with some alcohol, maybe. And then we're going to come back and dive into this movie. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you want to support the podcast and get some awesome merch in return, go to saltynerd.com/shirts to get access to our limited edition Global Dynamic shirt from the TV show Eureka. It is part of our club members exclusive episodes that we're covering for the month of March. We're talking about the sci-fi classic show Eureka. And in honor of that, we have designed a shirt that has to do with Global Dynamics. It's got the logo on it, and it says, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. And if you want access to that, you have to go to the website, saltynerd.com/shirts. Type in the promo code SALTY for 10% off. And that's a limited edition shirt. It's only going to be available till about May, and then it's going to disappear forever. So if you like...
We also still have our Buffy shirt available.
That's right. Yeah, we extended the length of the Buffy shirt in honor of Jude because she got shortchanged a little bit. So
No one's bought one for me yet.
so you can also grab the Bite Me Buffy t-shirt if you're into that. So these are limited edition. They're going to go away after a short period of time, and then we're going to move on to the next set of shirts. We're doing Stargate Atlantis next, so look for another exclusive shirt with having to do with Stargate Atlantis after that. All right, that's it for my promo. Go buy it.
Good job.
Thank you.
That was really good.
I am done now. Kadish.
your radio voice is on point today.
Okay. All right. So the Batman. Spoiler warning. I said that already, but we're going to get into it. Jude, you have the synopsis for the film.
I do.
Go for it.
All right. The Batman, 2022, rated PG-13. I have no budgetary information for it, but here's the synopsis.
Oh,
okay.
What's the budget?
Take it away, Kadish.
So it was $200 million. How much do you think it brought in its first weekend in the box office?
Oh, man.
I'm going to say 150.
Yeah, 125 to 150 million opening weekend.
Vader?
144.5.
So worldwide, it was 240 million.
Wow.
Oh, wow. What about domestic? How'd it do in the States?
I believe it was 125.
Okay.
around there.
Cool. Good for it. Good little movie.
That's pretty good.
I love it when movies
That
succeed.
makes me happy because movies need to do well.
Yeah.
We need to have a reason to go to the theaters.
Yes,
man.
exactly. Yeah, I'm tired of like as easy as it was to go and just be like, oh, it's on HBO Max, freaking sweet. I'll watch it at my TV at home.
They didn't do that with this, right?
No.
good.
I loved going to the theater for this.
I did not like that. Or you can watch it on TV, or you can go to the theater. It's like, well, nobody's going to go to the theater if they can do that.
Although
Unless you're
watching
us.
3-hour movies at home is a little bit easier.
It's a little rough.
Yeah.
It's a little rough.
Yeah, this is really long.
Dude, trying to pick.
I purposely did not drink anything from about 9 o'clock last night.
You want to know how out of
just
touch I am with going to the theater? I bought a big ass fucking Coke, and I drank about half of it, and I went, "Oh no!"
Listen, my 52-year-old bladder. I'm at the stage in my life where I got to get up at least twice a night to go to the bathroom when I'm sleeping. So there ain't no way I'm making it through a 3-hour movie without having to go. And I did it. I made it through the whole thing.
Really?
Because I had
Not
nothing.
me.
I had nothing in my bladder.
I had to bail.
I believe the runtime on this is 2 hours and like
58.
53 minutes,
Yeah,
58
yeah.
minutes. Okay.
I took a bottle of water in the movie with me only because.
I thought you were gonna say you could pee in it.
No. So only because I didn't want to. In case I had a coughing fit or something.
Okay,
I wanted something to lube my throat up with.
Gotcha.
That was it. And then after the movie theater, it was like I was cutting weight for wrestling back in high school. And it was like, oh God, the movie's over. I can go drink some water now. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Anyway, all right, take it away, Jude.
All right. So there's this really rich guy who walks in the shadows and is feared by all the lower level baddies of Gotham City. Turns out the reason he stays in the shadows is because if the sun hits him, he sparkles like a diamond in the sky. So then he falls in love with this girl, Bella, who has no personality, but then she starts hanging out with a bunch of werewolves and he's like, ew, you smell like dog. So then he meets this really cute cat lady and they seem to have a lot in common. They both hate birds. He wants to just put them in cages though, and she full on wants to murder them. Then a cult leader who keeps sending Batman love notes adds the third corner to this love triangle. But then he floods Gotham City and shoots the mayor. So Batman's like, I don't think this is going to work. Discuss.
That was interesting.
All right. I didn't expect it to go that direction.
Fun fact, I totally forgot to write a synopsis until you walked in this morning.
Oh my God.
Did you know Robert Pattinson was in a vampire movie?
I don't even, you know what? Okay, let's just start right off with that. I do not hold those movies against him
Absolutely
in
not.
any way, shape, or form. He has talked so much shit about those movies. I don't even think he likes the fact
Oh,
that
I
he
think
does.
he's actually a really good actor.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's a
he is.
great actor.
Yeah.
Like I've watched some of his like indie films that he's done since, and he was recently in The King as that French prince. He nailed it. He's a damn good actor. I do not. When I see Robert Pattinson, I'm over the whole freaking Twilight thing. I don't look at that anymore.
Just for the record, there was a thing about how he refused to work out and all that kind of stuff for this movie.
Is that real?
I don't know if it was real, but I just want to say I think he looks great in
Really?
the bat suit. Yeah,
I think he looks great in the bat suit.
in the bat suit.
But then when he's not in the bat suit, he does not look like he's anywhere near
Oh,
what
no.
he looks like in
Okay,
the bat suit.
that was-
when he's mopey emo Wayne, I don't know about that.
I didn't mind Bruce. I didn't mind the personality traits of his version of Bruce Wayne because this is very, very early. Bruce is only 2 years in. So I understood the personality traits of Bruce Wayne being like a recluse and he doesn't care about the Wayne name. Like I get that. I understood where they were going with that and I didn't have a problem with it. But
I did.
As far as the physical stature, there's like a scale of intimidation factor that you need for Batman, right? Like you got Lego Batman at the very, very bottom of the intimidation factor, and then you got Batflack. He was a freaking brick shithouse just ready to freaking brawl. That's high on the intimidation level. This dude's like right above George Clooney.
Bale was not a big dude.
No, but
Batman.
he was bigger than Pattinson.
He carries a
think he
big
is.
presence, though.
I don't think he is bigger than Pattinson.
Okay, listen, I went on like a Batman freaking binge this week. I watched all the Batman movies. Bale is freaking jacked in that first movie.
Yeah, Bale put on something like 20 pounds of muscle.
He's freaking
That doesn't mean
huge.
he's still a big dude. He's
Well,
still 170
In comparison to what, though?
pounds.
In comparison to what?
He was bigger than the anemic Robert Pattinson that we got in this movie.
I thought Pattinson looked pretty good.
I thought
In
Pattinson
the
looks
suit.
good for Pattinson,
Yeah.
but not for Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like one of my issues with this movie, and overall I did like it, but one of my issues was the portrayal of Bruce Wayne, because like the thing about Batman has always been that like Bruce Wayne is the actual disguise and Batman's like the actual character. And so like, in Nolan's Batman, they did a pitch perfect job of like showcasing Bruce Wayne as like the billionaire playboy in order to like, kind of divert attention from the fact that he's actually Batman. And in this movie, Matt Reeves kind of wanted to take a different approach, and he wanted to make Bruce Wayne more of a recluse. And they actually, both him and Pattinson, kind of based the their portrayal of Bruce Wayne on Kurt Cobain from Nirvana.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, you know, like they basically said like Kurt Cobain was this guy who, you know, wasn't ready for fame. And so like, you know, he didn't know how to deal with it, and he was struggling like emotionally, and it was all about the music for him and all this other stuff. And so with this version of Bruce Wayne, it's all about, you know, vengeance and, you know, the Batman and stuff like that. And so like, he doesn't go out into the world. And when he is out in the world, he's acting like Batman. You know, like that whole like funeral scene that's like in the middle of the movie, like when Bruce Wayne shows up and everyone's like, oh my God, it's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
He's just kind of like skulking around exactly like he does in the bat suit. And I was like, I don't like this portrayal of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, it's like, why wouldn't the whole world be like, that guy's Batman, right?
Well, here's my defense for that, because I understand where you guys are coming from. I totally do. But I think a justification for that is this is very, very early in his career. He hasn't built that persona of the billionaire playboy yet. I think it's shown a little bit, very little of it, but he kind of realizes that he might need to do that, because as he goes out in public, he realizes like people expect something from me. And he has a conversation with Alfred about that very thing. And he's like, I don't care. But then they share the cufflink scene where Alfred's trying to tell him about his father, about the legacy that his family has and stuff like that. So I think in this very first movie, which I'm assuming they're probably going to go for a trilogy with this. In this first movie, he hasn't built that persona yet. He doesn't know how to pretend to be Bruce Wayne yet. But I think in the next movie, we'll probably get more along the lines of like what Bale did in Batman Begins and stuff.
I
think
hope
you're
that's
probably
the case.
right.
So Pattinson, it's been revealed that he has signed a 3-picture deal for
wow.
Batman. So
Okay.
like they are going to do a trilogy, and they kind of set up like the next chapter, even though like they haven't officially announced like what, you know, the second Batman movie is going to be about. But they actually have a spin-off series in the works on HBO Max about, they're kind of combining GCPD and Arkham Asylum into like a TV show about like the Gotham police and the prisoners in Arkham.
I hate this idea. I don't want to have to watch 2 shows to keep track of what's going on in a movie.
It's not 2 shows. They've combined the 2 shows together into one show.
I still don't want to have to watch a show. I don't want them to go down the route of Marvel where like you have to watch a TV show to get like the inner workings of what's happening in the movies.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't want to have to deal with that. I'll probably freaking watch it because I'm an idiot.
Well, because we're going to have to.
Yeah. But it still bothers me. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Just have a goddamn good trilogy and don't worry about the spin-off shit.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, DC's all over the fucking place anyway.
yeah. Anyway, I don't know. So yeah, as far as the Bruce Wayne thing, I understood what they were doing in this movie, and it didn't bother me too much because I feel like they had more story to tell, so they're going to grow that persona of Bruce Wayne later. I didn't necessarily need it like right now.
I'll tell you this though, like every time Pattinson was out of the Batman costume, I had a hard time believing his performance.
I agree.
There was a moment where Alfred gets injured by the Riddler via some kind of an explosive device, but he survives barely, and he's in a hospital. There was a scene where Pattinson and Andy Serkis were acting just one-on-one in a small room, and I felt like Andy Serkis freaking did circles around Pattinson.
He did.
I was like, because it was supposed to be like this really dark, emotional moment where Bruce Wayne, Batman, realizes that he can, in fact, relive the death of his parents
He can still feel fear, even though he thought he had mastered it.
Yeah, there was like a really, really big moment in the movie, and I mean, I know Pattinson's a good actor. I've seen him do really cool things in other movies, but when he was going up against Andy Serkis in this one-on-one acting thing, I was like, man, Andy showed so much more energy and emotion than Pattinson did. And I don't know if that was on purpose because he's supposed to be broken and he's not supposed to be super emotional, but I was like, I needed more.
I forgot who was playing Batman every single time he was in the Batman costume.
So you liked this version of Batman then?
I liked the Batman,
Right.
but every time he was playing Bruce Wayne, I was just like, oh yeah, that's Pattinson. But like literally, like every single time he was like portraying Batman, I was like, oh, this is fucking good. And then like, you know, the other part of my brain would go, that's fucking Pattinson. Get the fuck out of here.
And it is funny every time we saw him outside of the costume, because that costume really made him look more muscular than he really was.
Oh yeah, they had a lot of padding there.
As soon as they put him in the movie shirtless, I was like, why?
Yeah.
Oh, when
You're
he was
just
pushing,
calling attention to the fact that he's so tiny.
he was pushing
And,
that
like,
table.
His shirt collar was like, I
Like
could
pinched?
I could probably put my fingers around his neck.
He's a little
his
dude.
Shirt collar was so tiny.
He's very slender,
Yeah,
very
and
slender.
every time he was out of the bat suit, I just kept thinking about that rumor about like, I don't have to work out to be Batman. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did have that one scene in the movie where he was shirtless and they had like a front view And he had some chisel to him, but he wasn't big.
That's what I'm saying. He looks good for Pattinson.
Yeah.
So like we have seen him shirtless
But who
in
knows?
other things.
That
But
could
he
have
looks
been-
great for
maybe
him.
he was directed to be a little smaller,
I
so he
mean,
can bulk up for the next movie.
Maybe. I'll give him.
This is year 2, right? Year 2
Year
Batman.
2, yeah.
I mean, this is a very young Batman. He's just finding himself. I mean, that's basically what this movie's about. Is
Right.
he's finding himself and giving himself direction into how he wants to
Yeah.
take this Bat character in the future. You know,
I want to go over a couple of things that I really liked about this movie before I jump onto some of the freaking things that I'm criticizing. But
after you saw it, you said, "Is it possible to love and hate a movie?"
I did, yeah,
at
yes.
the same time.
That's what on our Discord app, we were kind of, I didn't want to get into it too much because I didn't want to spoil our review, but I was just like, I just got out, I walked out of the movie and I was like, is it possible to love this movie and also hate this movie at the same time? Because there's so much good about it that freaking nails Batman and Gotham City and the music and the noir, the detectiveness. All of that shit is dope.
I loved the way it looked.
Yes. Oh my, the cinematography was incredible.
Yeah.
Like this is the first time I've ever felt like Gotham was Gotham.
Gothic Gotham.
Yeah.
and it was
Just
rainy
kiss.
and noir.
Dude, it was, yes.
Yeah,
Perfect.
There wasn't a dry scene the whole movie. I loved it.
I
Yeah.
felt like I needed to take a shower. when I
Yeah,
went home.
when you're driving through Gotham City and it's just like trash everywhere and
Yeah.
newspaper, it felt so grimy, and it was like the perfect instance where finally I felt like, yeah, this city needs a weirdo who's dressed up like a bat to fix it up.
Yeah.
Like in Nolan's Batman, it's
just New York City.
yeah, it's New York or Chicago.
Yeah,
it's got
it's too
ultra clean streets,
Yeah.
and I just watched the Nolan trilogy after I saw this movie just to kind of have like where we came
You
from.
did that?
Yeah. No, I'm serious.
you're a madman.
I told you I went down a rabbit hole with
that's
Batman
fine.
this week, dude.
Yeah.
I watched the animated series. I watched freaking all kinds of anything Batman I could get a hold of. I binged it this week just so I could have like a where does this lay in the play in you know the pantheon of Batman. And this is the best Gotham City I've ever seen.
Yes.
It's so freaking good.
They actually make it a character in the movie, which is something that I don't even think Nolan's Batman succeeded in doing.
I
mean,
yeah, I don't
I
necessarily
even like
think
how
so.
they have like this weird kind of like alternate kind of like Times Square section
Yes.
in Gotham where it's like oh I know what they're trying to do there, but man, it's like it's off.
scary.
Like below the
It's
sea
pretty
line.
freaky. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like with all the monitors
sea level.
and yeah,
I love
was
it.
cool.
I love
like
it. That was one of the best things about this movie was like that noir, the rainy feeling. Gotham City was
I got
amazing.
a little tired of the rain. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I thought the movie was a little dark. It was too dark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like
Maybe.
yeah.
I could see that if you're like at home watching it,
Mhm.
but in the theater, I was at like the freaking IMAX theater. It was
Right.
perfect, but that's what it's built for, right? It's not. Maybe they'll tweak it a little bit for
Is
the
the-
at-home theater.
Is
but
the rain CGI?
no, I don't think
No?
so.
I have no.
I don't get the impression that they used a whole bunch of CGI. But what they did use, I found out recently. I saw a video on it. They used the volume for those scenes
Oh, really?
where Pattinson and Catwoman were on the balcony and they're overlooking Gotham City and they're just
So
like
up there where the bat signal was.
yeah,
That's-
up there where the bat
that's
signal.
volume?
That whole scene where they're
Interesting.
overlooking the city, that's all volume, which I thought was really cool because it looks way better than like the green screen that we used to get. But it's not quite like, all right, we're going to be on top of the Sears Tower. We're going to overlook Chicago. Like they're able to make it look like a different city, which helped, I think. The other thing that I really freaking loved was the soundtrack for this movie. I know you're not a fan of Nirvana, but damn it,
that.
dude.
No.
That freaking Something in the Way.
Yeah.
Oh, I listened to it like 19 times this week.
So it's interesting because they actually used Kurt Cobain's vocals in the movie, but Michael Giancino or Giancano, I forget how to pronounce his name. He's the composer for this movie. He actually went in and added like piano and strings to make it a little bit more orchestral. And it was kind of funny because when I was watching the movie and the song pops up at least twice in the film, I was like, "Is that a Nirvana song?"
Yeah.
Like it's weirdly appropriate, but at the same time out of place. It's kinda
Well, I mean,
weird.
considering, I think Matt Reeves said he was listening to Nirvana while he was writing the script for this movie. So I think that's a lot of the inspiration for the version of Bruce Wayne that we got in this movie is Kurt Cobain, like you said. I thought it fit really well. And I just, the Batman theme,
oh, so good.
so goddamn good. So I was watching this movie and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why does this feel like it gives
The
me
Imperial March.
it gives me anxiety when I'm watching it.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes Batman's not even on the screen, but the music will cue up and you start
dun dun dun.
dun, dun. Like that whole thing, and I'm going, it feels so familiar. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, where have I felt like this before? It's the freaking Jaws theme.
Yeah.
Dun-dun, dun-dun. I'm like, oh shit, that's like, you don't, the shark doesn't have to be on screen, but you hear that music and you know he's around.
Get out of the water.
Yeah.
It's actually more like the Imperial March, because like the opening is like dun dun, like.
Well, I mean, I know, like musically, yes, it might be more similar to that. I'm talking about the way I felt.
Emotional.
Yeah, the way I felt when they had that theme playing in the theater. I'm like, oh, this is like, get out of the water, get out of the shadows. Like Batman's around somewhere.
The scene where we got introduced to him at the beginning of the movie, where he comes out of the dark doorway on the train station.
Yeah,
where the Joker thugs are out there mugging the
Asian dude.
The Asian dude.
Yeah.
The way the music crescendoed and the way he came out of the shadows, it was perfect.
Yeah.
That was a very well constructed scene.
Every time it gave us
everything we wanted.
Walking.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome. It was like the cinematography was like, we're gonna make this guy feel like a villain, like in a horror movie, and it worked.
Yeah,
it so worked.
I could totally, like Jason or something, like walking in. Yeah,
I mean,
like Michael Myers stalking you is how Batman felt in this.
Well, that's a good
and
comparison.
I think they did that on purpose, because you're supposed to feel like you are the low level baddie and Batman's like right behind you, and it's supposed to elicit that like, oh shit moment. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the interesting things about the Batman in this movie is that this is the first film to actually address the black eye makeup.
Oh, you stole my next thing. I was going to say. No, that's all good. I'm glad you brought it up.
I was glad they did.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, take it away. You can start it off.
Well, so like in all the previous Batman movies, they would apply black eye makeup just to make the face like blend in with the cowl, and but it was always like non-diegetic, which basically means that like there was no purpose for it, because as soon as they take off the cowl, the black eye makeup would disappear.
Yeah.
And in this movie, they actually made it a point to show that Pattinson applies the black eye makeup before he puts on the helmet, and then when he takes off the helmet, he's all like sweaty and gross, and the black eye makeup's just like streaming down his face.
It's gritty.
Yeah,
it's gritty as fuck.
I'm so glad that they like just owned that, because
Yeah.
it makes it so much more realistic.
Yeah.
There's a scene in the Keaton Batman where he has the cowl on. You can see clearly he's got the eye makeup on, and he takes his mask off and he rips it off, and he has no eye makeup on. I'm like, bullshit.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm just really glad that they owned that, because it just sold the whole thing so much more. Like it was
I
great.
think Matt Reeves said that he specifically wanted to see like that type of eye makeup on Pattinson, because it just kind of went more towards the Bruce Wayne that they were going for, with like the streaky eye makeup stuff.
I think it was the right call for sure.
The transformation between Bruce Wayne and Batman with this outfit is stark.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
He's got a hell of a jawline, though.
Yeah, he does.
That dude's got a freaking.
I mean, when he's in the Batman, the outfit, he doesn't even look like Pattinson.
No, he does not.
Well, and that's kind of the point, though, right?
Right. But it's like I was convinced through half the movie that it was a different actor playing Batman.
Probably was.
Because I'm trying to compare Jaws, because that's the only part where we can see, and I'm like,
Remember the set photos way back when they were doing the motorcycle scene and they got leaked like it was just a quick scene through the cemetery, and there was obviously a stunt guy on the motorcycle or whatever, but I just remember seeing that. People were like, oh, look, Pattinson's not doing the job. Blah, blah. I'm like, come on, dude, this is how movies are fucking made.
Right.
Everybody's got a goddamn stunt person.
Well, it's funny. So Jude kind of talked about how they made Batman feel like a horror villain, and you talked about Jaws. The big set piece in this movie is like the car chase between the Batmobile and the Penguin. And Matt Reeves specifically said that he wanted to make the Batmobile feel like a monster that was chasing it. And so like the car chase scene is almost like a scene right out of Jaws, where the shark is bearing down on its intended prey, and they wanted to make this muscle car feel like a relentless beast that Batman was driving. So like everything about the Batman is meant to like instill fear in in the hearts of criminals and stuff like that.
What was the Batmobile? Was it a Charger?
Oh, it was like an amalgamation of like 7 different cars.
Okay.
I didn't like it.
It was. You didn't like the Batmobile?
I thought it was dope.
Yeah, dude. It kind of reminds me of a trophy truck. You know what a trophy truck is? No?
What is that?
It's like a Baja out in the desert going 180 miles an hour, big struts, big wide tires. It looks very similar to the way this vehicle physically looks.
Okay.
Yeah, pull up a picture, put it right there. Anyway, it felt very the same, and I kind of understood where they were going with that. It's very practical, but I don't think it has any kind of like a frame of any car that I know of.
I feel like it's like you said, it's a young Batman. I feel like this is like the Batmobile 1.0.
I agree.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm okay. But I just thought it was kind of, like you said,
So
kind
when
of
he-
like an amalgamation of things. It's like, I got these ideas, so I'm just going to put this stuff on a car and we'll see how it goes.
Well, yeah.
So, in the Batman 2, I better see a really nice,
Well,
better Batmobile.
he's got to meet Lucius Fox.
So,
Because that's
yeah.
in the comic books and in the animated series and all that stuff. When he meets Lucius is the one who like amps up his freaking gadgetry a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm looking if they do that.
Were there batarangs in this? I don't even remember.
There was one. It's the one in his chest.
But that was a
Oh, that's
knife.
right. Yeah,
But
he used it
wasn't-
like a
wasn't
switchblade.
Yeah. So.
I don't know if they have batarangs in this one yet.
Oh, and what were the things on his wrist?
They're supposed to be arrows or something, right?
No, they were like they were for his taser. So
Oh,
like-
is that what that was
like,
for?
Like when he would put his fist up underneath,
Mhm.
those things would pop up and
But
taser.
Shit,
because
I want one of those.
Batman's thing has always been his fancy utility belt,
Yeah.
Right,
and
yeah.
shit, right? And I don't think they
Well, he
played up
had-
on this. It's like you said. I don't feel like Batman has evolved into our Batman yet.
Yet.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
So maybe that's.
I
why
think that's very much on
I
purpose.
think
though.
yeah, for sure. And I think there's a lot of things about Batman himself that I struggled with a little bit, and that was
One of them.
probably part of it. Just because this is a very young Batman,
Mm-hmm.
and he hasn't evolved into what I think of Batman is. So
I need your guys' opinion on something because I'm kind of on the fence with this. I don't know if I love it or hate it. There's parts that I like, and then there's other parts where I'm kind of like, why did they even bother? Penguin.
Oh,
Yeah, he's not Penguin yet, right?
Loved him.
Colin Farrell as
Oh.
Penguin.
Oh, he killed it.
I mean, literally everybody who talks about this movie has said he's unrecognizable.
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 Completely changes his whole entire thing. But at that point, like, he's got so much prosthetics on, which they did a fantastic
Oh yeah,
job with.
that's real.
Looked real. Why didn't they just cast like a big dude in his late 50s to
Because he
play?
wanted the part and he's an actor.
Yeah,
Yeah, but why go through all the effort of making him look so different if you're just
because
gonna?
if he comes back in the next movies, he can evolve more into the Penguin. I have no problem. He's probably the best actor in the movie, almost. I think.
I'd give it to Andy
I
Serkis.
thought everybody just did such a
Yeah.
bang up job. Like Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, amazing. The Riddler, I thought he was so good, like creepy.
You guys
and
want to talk
like
about the Riddler
a
real quick?
weirdo. And I thought Colin Farrell as the Penguin was fantastic.
Okay, so you guys liked it?
I thought the Penguin was the best character in
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah, I did
personally.
too.
The only thing
I did too.
the only thing I had a problem with was like how different Pattinson looked outside of the costume.
Mm-hmm.
And like there was one thing where he was like, it bugged me because he's like the world's greatest detective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like Falcone tells him something and he immediately believes it. And then he goes and says something to Alfred and Alfred's like, no, it's this.
Yeah.
And he immediately believes that too. And I was like, come on.
I always pronounce it Falcone.
Is it
But,
Falcone?
But you know what's interesting is that so we've only had 2 live action portrayals of the Penguin. And first one was Burgess Meredith, which was very kind of like comic book accurate, I guess you could say. And then the second one was Danny DeVito, which was Tim Burton's take on the character. And so this take on the Penguin is the first one that's like a little bit more realistic because we never got a Nolan version of the Penguin. But like he's this kind of like down home like mafia guy.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Yeah. He doesn't have like the weird accent. Actually, I take it back. There was the Gotham version of the Penguin too, which was emo Penguin.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is the first version of the Penguin where I actually felt like, okay, this guy's a crime boss. This guy is an actual like when Batman is fighting his way through the Iceberg Lounge and he shows up and he's like, whoa, slow down there, sweetheart. like that to me was like, okay, this is the Penguin that I want to see Batman go up against.
Yeah, I mean, the Penguin has always had like some element that's like laughable
Yeah.
to him up until now, and I thought that this was a really cool, different way to bring us the Penguin.
And that scene where he blows up those trucks and he's like, I got you.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
and then like the look on his face when the Batmobile just like drives through the flames, like you can like that's Colin Farrell where he's like conveying behind all those prosthetics all that genuine like fear and emotion. Like that's something that's why you cast Colin Farrell as that character, is because he as an actor brings something to the role that someone who might be more accurate to the look doesn't.
Okay.
And you know, it's kind of funny because when Collin Farrell first got into the prosthetics, he actually like went out to like a Starbucks just to see if anyone recognized him, and like everyone gave him like weird looks, but like no one thought that was Collin Farrell. He's like, good, because I want to disappear into this role.
Well, he definitely did, for sure. He's completely unrecognizable. If I didn't know it was Collin Farrell going in, I would never have thought it was.
And I love that little scene where like after they capture him and interrogate him, and Batman and Gordon just kind of leave, like he's still like
He's tied up.
He's
like,
like,
you guys just leave me in?
Yeah, and he like waddles after them. That was great.
The only thing that I would have I wanted to see a little bit more penguin-y stuff. You know, a little more of the
monocle.
You wanted him to squawk?
No,
No, you wanted the monocle.
But I wanted him to just.
But he's not there yet. That's kind of the moral of this whole movie.
That's kind of like my whole issue with the whole thing. It's like, I want year 5 Batman. Not year 2. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
I got you.
There's so many things in this movie that you can say, oh well, they just haven't got there yet. You know, this is just we're building up, and I get it.
So as far as like noir detective movies go, I think one of my favorite, and it's many people's favorites, I'm not breaking any new ground here, but is Seven, the movie Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman and Kevin Spacey. You could clearly see the influence that movie had on this one. Like the Riddler is literally Kevin Spacey's character. He's got the same notepads. He's doing the same weird ass shit in his head. Like he is very much inspired by Kevin Spacey's character from Seven. So
and you know what's funny is that when the Dark Knight Returns was kind of in development, a lot of speculation was that it was going to be, they were going to use the Riddler, and the Riddler was going to be like a serial killer, kind of like Seven. And so like this concept has been around since like Nolan's version of, you know, the Batman. And they actually, when Matt Reeves came in, he based his version of the Riddler on the Zodiac Killer. That was kind of like his inspiration for it.
Yeah, that's where they get the symbols from, and the question mark with the weird like target thing around it. Yeah, it was all very obvious. I didn't hate that at all. I'm not a huge fan of the costume for the Riddler.
I'm not either.
I didn't care for it. I'm not saying that I need him to go full freaking top, you know, ball cap.
Full Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I don't need to. No, don't ever go full Jim Carrey.
I will say that first shot where like, you know, we're with the current mayor and he like, you know, steps away and like Paul Dano is just there in the shadows. Yeah. And like, you just see like the reflection of his glasses over his mask. Like that was a hell of a way to introduce the character.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
I was like, oof.
I feel like they need to try to keep somewhat up with the Batman aesthetic through these movies. And that's probably part of the issue that I have with this movie is they don't. It's like, I should be able to look at like a character that I don't know anything about other than it's from a Batman movie and go, oh, that's going to be the Riddler. That's the Joker. That's the Penguin.
What would you have changed?
I don't know. But the gunny sack jacket and the duct tape with the glasses, that doesn't say Riddler to me. It doesn't. It just says psychopath.
But the character did.
Yeah.
I mean, with the question marks and the riddles and everything, it was clearly the Riddler. But you're saying just visually, you want to look at it and go, "Oh, that's fucking Riddler."
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
The Jim Carrey character was more accurate to the comic books,
and that was a bit too extreme. Nobody wants that either. But it's just, I would have liked. So like the thing I liked about the Nolan movies is like they were true to the characters, but they were like the Joker in Heath Ledger's Joker, best Joker ever.
Yeah,
I think for sure. But it was because he just embodied what that character is, but they took the design a little bit in a different way, but you still knew it was the Joker.
It's kind of hard to hide that with the face paint.
Right. Same thing with the Scarecrow. What would the Scarecrow look like? The Riddler looked more like what the Scarecrow should look like to me. What if Killer Croc shows up in this thing?
I don't. Do they have do movies?
Or Clayface going to show up? Is he going to be a clump of fucking mud?
Do movies have the balls to do characters like that?
Well, they should, because
in this gritty, realistic thing.
It's Batman.
Yeah. But but like if they're going like, oh, we want our Batman to be gritty and realistic. That's like the craze for the past 10 years. Gritty and realistic.
Yeah.
How do you do? I mean, they did it in Suicide Squad. You remember Suicide Squad?
I think the problem I have with this iteration, I don't see characters like Wonder Woman and Superman existing in this world.
Right.
No. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the thing. Like when I'm watching this, I go,
I felt like the end. I felt like we were going to get Joaquin Phoenix's Joker pop in.
I could see that. There's a theory, a fan theory that this is a sequel to Joaquin Phoenix's
totally,
Joker.
I could totally buy that.
Does anybody know who was playing the Joker at the end?
He's a pretty famous guy, but I can't remember his name.
He was actually in the Eternals. His name was Barry Cogan.
You'd recognize him if you saw his face.
Yeah, he's not a very recognizable. I mean, like he is a recognizable actor, but he's not someone who's like super famous. And in fact, there were a lot of deleted scenes from this movie where Batman went to Arkham to interview that character.
They did like a Hannibal Lecter thing, right?
Yeah, to try to get like some insight into the Riddler's mindset. But one of the things I wanted to pose to you guys about that scene in particular, because there is a scene between the Riddler and this character at the end of the movie, and we never see his face, but you kind of see like a little bit of his lip, and you can see like it's like curled up and like the hair. And so a lot of people are assuming that this guy is playing the Joker.
Right.
But one of the interesting things about this is like oftentimes like Batman movies will steal from other Batman movies. And in Batman Forever, you know, the Riddler was the main bad guy, but you also had him teaming up with Two-Face. And so I'm thinking if they don't want to go with this actor as the Joker, that could have been Two-Face in the cell next to him.
And
I think it was heavily implied. That
Yeah,
this was
with the
Joker.
laugh and him playing with the riddle to kind of be like,
It is, but they never come out and say like, okay, this guy's the Joker. And so like the idea is that what if they want to recast the Joker or do something different?
Well,
with the
I think
Joker?
they could recast him with no problem at all because we don't ever actually see him other than
it's almost it's almost like
Very
an end,
vague.
it's end
Yeah.
credit scene almost like
Yeah.
a type of thing. It's very, very vague, but I got heavily implied
for
that
sure.
it was the Joker for sure. Okay, so it's a great movie. It's really good. I think people are overhyping it though, because I think a lot of people are just ignoring some of the things that didn't really work, and it's like I look on TikTok and Instagram, and everybody's like, "This is the best comic book movie ever made." I'm like, all right,
even people who I feel like
People
are
will always
normally
do that.
more
critical.
of things, they're coming out and giving this movie like 8s and 9s.
yeah.
I'm like, oh man,
I think it's a bit much.
I think you're going a little heavy,
Yeah,
bro.
I think-
you know, but
It might have something to do with like this being like besides Spider-Man being like the first big freaking movie out right now. Everybody's excited.
I'll say this. So like, this is a very well written movie. It's a very well made movie. I loved my theater going experience watching this movie. This is the first time that we actually so one of the great things about Nolan's trilogy is like the Batman movies felt like not a comic book movie, but like a crime drama. And with this one, this actually feels like a mystery. And you know, like the comparisons to the movie Seven are very appropriate here. This is the first time where we see like Batman walking in amongst the police officers. His relationship with Gordon is already established, and Gordon's kind of like, you know, his man on the inside. And it's kind of fun to see them buddy cop it up.
I agree.
throughout the
Oh,
movie.
yeah, for sure.
That was one of my favorite moments where Gordon was trying to help him figure out that mystery with the car, and he's like, thumb drive, and he pulls it. He's like, oh god, it was clever, and it was humorous, but it wasn't overly done.
Dark comedy.
It was dark comedy. I really like that.
There's also that scene where Gordon is trying to help Batman escape from police custody, and he's like, okay, you got to hit me, and then like run out this way.
Yeah.
And then when they meet up later on, he's like, man, couldn't you have pulled that punch a bit? And Batman's like, I did.
That was a very Batman thing to say. I really enjoyed that.
Did you notice that there's only one time in this movie where Batman disappears on Gordon? Every other time, like he sees him leave, because like that's kind of like a Batman trope.
Yeah, disappearing one.
Where Gordon's like talking to Batman, then he turns around and Batman's gone. And that happened when they went to Wayne Manor and they saw like, you know, that projector, and but Gordon was like so focused on that it makes sense that he didn't see Batman like leave. But
they were at the orphanage, right?
no, they were at Wayne Manor, the closed down Wayne Manor.
Okay.
Can we talk about Catwoman real quick?
Yeah,
Since we
for
covered
sure.
all the other characters.
What's the actress?
Zoe Kravitz.
Kravitz.
Yes.
Isn't that
Jason
Lenny Kravitz's
Momoa's
daughter?
Yes.
stepdaughter.
Oh no shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Channing Tatum's girlfriend.
I didn't know that either.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Go ahead. What did you want to say?
So, did anyone else get freaked out by her fingernails?
No.
Every time they showed her fingernails, I was just like, "Oh my god, that's
No.
gross."
No, that's the trend. That's
yeah, for sure.
people wear their fingernails like that.
You-
but it was appropriate for Catwoman as well.
I mean, I know it was appropriate for Catwoman, but in the comic books, like it's always her gloves that have like the big nails on them. To see like actual like nails that big, I was just like, "Oh, that's gross."
What took me out of Catwoman was her stupid mask.
Oh, I hated that.
I hated
stupid
the mask. It was terrible.
Yeah, I agree with you. The sock that has a
Yeah,
hole cut in the
yeah,
middle
it's
of
awful.
it, and it like barely covers her nose.
Yeah.
I'm like, you could do better than that. Come on, guys. Come on.
Maybe in the next one.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
did like how they made her feel like the Batman Year One Selena Kyle. You
Yeah.
know, like if you ever read that comic book, which is probably one of the best, Batman
Is
comic
it
books ever.
year one or Earth one?
Year One.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Frank Miller comic,
Mhm.
and the Selena in that comic book is very close to the one that we see in this one. And I also liked how they, kind of gave her connection to Falcone, where she's like his, bastard daughter.
Yeah, is that they make that up for this movie, or is
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
See, I don't like it when
Because
they do stuff like that.
a lot of the Falcone stuff is based on The Long Halloween, the comic book from that. That's kind of where they got the characterization from for him, mixed in with I think Batman Year One or something like that. But the connection with Selena Kyle has never been there before. I don't think.
Yeah.
Selena really lives in a shithole.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, that's straight from the comics. But it's kind of interesting because like I was thinking about this, and I was like, one of the things I always hate about comic book movies, especially ones that are like focused on one particular superhero, is for some reason they try to cram in as many bad guys as possible into that superhero movie. And in this case, like we got like 3 major Batman villains, 4 if you count the Joker. I was thinking like, you could have removed all of Catwoman's stuff in this movie and it probably wouldn't have affected the narrative all that much.
Not really.
Not
I
a
mean,
whole lot.
she kind of gives him motivation.
And also, her character is very ambiguous as far as like, is she a bad guy or a good guy?
Well, that's her whole thing.
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's Catwoman.
That's Catwoman.
She's very neutral. She's out for her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're always,
Yeah.
Batman's always going after her because she's going out there doing like some serious illegal shit. And he's like, I got to stop you, Selena. Stop doing this to me. She's like, haha, fuck you. So I like that. I have no issues with Catwoman in this movie, except for the mask was a little silly.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things about Catwoman is that she's one of the few characters that actually like loves Batman as opposed to like Bruce Wayne. Because like Bruce Wayne, he'll date these models and he'll date like Vicky Vale or like whatever. And they want to be with Bruce as opposed to Batman, who's actually the actual character. And so like it's because of that connection that Catwoman has with Batman that has had her endure as like his longest lasting love interest.
I mean, she is kind of portrayed in this movie as a modern day, rich people suck, white rich people suck even more.
That was the only moment.
But it took me out of it a little bit.
did,
I'm
yeah,
not
it did.
it didn't take me out of a movie or anything like that. And people like to, grab onto that little aspect. But it's a stupid piece of dialogue. It didn't need to be in the movie.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It did for that.
Did it ruin the movie? No.
It didn't ruin the movie, but for that moment, it was like I was sitting in the theater
come
going,
on.
"Come
It's
on!"
like, I thought we were just talking about villains.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just-
I'm like, we got to bring this bullshit into this. Like, really, was that necessary?
you really got to insert that
Like, come on,
stupid SJW.
And it was
shit
the
in.
dumbest thing about that was that she's literally talking to a white billionaire,
Yeah.
who had both of his parents killed.
which was supposed to make it ironic. And
Is that what they were going for?
Probably. But
I mean, if they're poking fun at it, I guess it's okay.
Well,
but
I also think it was a situation where like, Batman knowing who he is, like that's one of the reasons why he didn't go off with Selena at the end is because like, he knows that like she hates everything that he is. But one of the funny things about this version of Batman is like in the comics, you get like the word bubbles where you can kind of hear Batman's inner monologue. And we get a little bit of that at the beginning and the end where, we hear Robert Pattinson talking about like his diary entries and stuff like that. But the Batman, when he's interacting with other people, he says very little, and so like whenever Selena's like trying to tempt him and like, he's just like looking at her and he's always on mission. Like when he does say, he's like, okay, we're going to do this. And it's very kind of like comic book accurate, I think.
yeah, I did like. What do you guys think about the voice? I mean, I know we don't get a lot of Bruce Wayne in this, but the Batman voice. You think Pattinson pulled it off?
I do.
Yeah.
I noticed it more towards the end of the movie where I thought he wasn't trying as hard to be Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As he was in the beginning of the movie. I know people think it's a bit much. I always like Christian Bale's
Yeah,
You
I
like
Christian
that?
Bale's,
computer
yeah.
and headshot. He's like, I'm the Batman.
Swear to me.
I'm bad and evil.
Do I look like a cop?
Like that's
I'm
that's
not
where
wearing hockey
I'm not
pads.
wearing hockey
like-
pads.
I mean, I would have liked
Listen,
to have
man.
seen something between, I'm Robert Pattinson and, Christian Bale. Something in the middle.
well,
would
listen,
have been
Well, the
better.
Ben Affleck version used a voice
Yeah,
modulator.
I
Yeah,
actually
well, that was
if
a
you-
bit much.
Yeah, no, I actually like
That is a
if
bit
you're
much.
not going to go full Kevin Conroy, which I think is the pinnacle
Oh,
of
yeah.
Batman voice. Bruce Wayne and Batman to Kevin Conroy, 2 completely different people.
Yeah.
if you're not going to go that route, if you're not skilled enough to do Kevin Conroy, do Batfleck, do the modulated thing. I think it worked. I enjoyed that.
I don't have a problem with Batfleck. A lot of people don't like him, but
I like him.
I
fine.
like his old man Batman.
The curmudgeon.
Hell yeah,
I'll
dude.
fuck you up, Batman. Yeah. Like I said, the intimidation
It's
factor.
the Dark Knight Returns Batman.
Yeah, I know. That's Frank Miller. I read that comic too.
Is the mayor's kid who he kept flashing back to in this movie? Are we gonna is he gonna be Robin?
No.
You don't think
You
so?
don't think so?
No.
You're not gonna I
Well,
mean, they're retconning and changing.
They
shit.
showed him
Anyway.
in a red.
He's not an orphan. He's still got his mother.
Well, for this episode, tune in for the second
man.
one when his mom gets killed.
No, the whole thing was like Bruce could relate to the trauma that the kid.
Well,
was
that's
going
why I
through.
meant it's like maybe he's going to.
Well, you know, one of the opening scenes is seeing that kid in a red ninja costume for Halloween.
Oh, I didn't pick that up.
Yeah,
It'd be interesting.
they could go that way if they
Are we
wanted
gonna
to.
go like big top trapeze artist Robin?
Are they gonna go classic Robin? I don't know.
His name is also not Dick Grayson, so
Yeah, well, they can fiddle around with that a little bit.
I mean,
All right, you guys ready to dump some salt on this thing?
go for it.
All right, it's fucking 30 minutes too long.
30
Holy
minutes?
yes.
It's an hour too long.
You think it's 2 hours? Is that it?
55 minutes too
Well,
long.
The Dark Knight is 2.5 hours.
Look, man, a
So-
movie's 2 hours. That's my limit
all right, fair enough.
for a movie.
Fair enough. What would
Fist
you
bump
see?
count.
I think in my, I'm not an editor, and I'm going to get blasted in the comments, but I think they could cut 30 minutes out of this movie
Easily.
and not affect it that much.
No,
I
yeah.
don't think they could cut an hour out without affecting it.
It's kind of funny because this is the exact opposite argument you made with Justice League.
I can cut the shit out of that. It just speed up all the slow mo,
Yeah.
and it's fucking
Yeah.
2 hours long. But no, I just like
I mean,
to me, the moment where I lost it and I started checking my watch to see like how much fucking longer do I got,
yeah.
is the ending 30 minutes with the big arena and him
Yeah.
going to town on the freaking internet trolls. I just was like, I checked out at that point.
I
I'm
feel like
okay,
it
let's
could
just-
have ended at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have had like maybe, there's one last trap, solve the riddle. There's a bomb, and he could have went and like stopped the bomb or something, or maybe saved the people from the bomb or whatever. And the same storyline would have went through, but we would have avoided the whole like, I'm gonna go up against 17 Riddler copycat guys and fight my way through this thing.
His little weird online
His online cult following.
cultists.
Don't
that,
even get me
you know,
started. I hated that part.
his Discord.
His Discord followers. I hated that whole section of this movie. I was like,
Twitter
can we
Spaces said to meet here. Bring your ski mask.
bring your ski
costume.
masks?
Kill people.
I
That's cool.
I
Lot of
did
fun.
not need any of that.
No.
I didn't need any of that shit. And him using did you guys notice the venom from Bane? He used the green goo.
See, like a lot of people are speculating that might be venom. I think it was just adrenaline.
I don't know. That's green for a reason, bud. I'm going to say it has something to do. It's a foreshadowing thing. This is Matt Reeves we're talking about. He didn't put it in there for nothing.
Venom.
Venom. Bane, freaking.
Oh, I was switching to Spider-Man. That's Marvel, bro.
I'm going
That's
to
Marvel.
break you.
Yeah, yeah.
He smashes
Hey,
Batman's back.
Tom's here, and I know he really wants to talk about this too. So I told him to come in, and I'm going to give him my mic.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that cool?
You want to say goodbye to the people first?
Um,
Jude's going to bail, and Tom's going to sit down with us. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well,
What's your score, Jude?
Bye.
What's your score? Final thoughts.
Oh gosh, for a Batman movie, this is probably a 4 out of 5. I thought it was really entertaining. I loved the look of it.
Okay.
The gritty gothic Gotham. I am here for. That's a chef's kiss for me.
Okay.
And I thought everybody in it did a really good job. My biggest problem was that when he was being Bruce Wayne, to me he was still Robert Pattinson.
Okay.
Everybody else just really embodied the character, including when he was Batman.
Okay.
I will say that I didn't mind the third act of this movie. Like you're right. It feels a bit extraneous.
Tacked on.
Yeah. Where you could have easily just kind of ended it where like they capture the Riddler and then like maybe he goes to visit him at Gotham. They have that final like kind of like tete-a-tete chat to kind of wrap things up. But one of the weird things about this movie is like it's one of the only Batman movies where Batman doesn't have a final confrontation with the main villain at the end. And so like I feel like there needed to be like some type of like big moment in the movie.
Okay, so I'm going to dump some salt. So the 30 minutes too long thing, I think the third act felt tacked on. I didn't need it. I didn't care for the whole freaking internet troll thing.
Yeah.
Not my thing. Didn't like it. Okay, moving on. I talked about the Batman's low intimidation factor. This version of Batman, although good, didn't freak me out that much. I'm like, okay, he's a thin stature. He's not super tall. He doesn't have that like presence when he walks in.
I thought he did. I didn't have any problem with
I think all of that was the cinematography and the music.
Well, whatever. They pulled it off.
Yeah, theatrics, right? That's the whole Batman thing.
Yeah.
But
I feel like this is like the most unintimidating outfit of any Batman, because it just looks kind of like homemade.
It's like the homeless Batman.
Well, he carries it around in his backpack.
Yeah,
he takes it off and puts it in his backpack and then rolls around. And then they've got to stop with this freaking bulletproof Batman bullshit.
Oh yeah,
they've got to stop. This dude, okay, so halfway through the movie, he's literally taking machine gun fire at point blank range and just walking through it. We see that in the trailer.
Tanking like 1,000,000 bullets.
Yeah, ridiculous. I'm sorry. I understand to a certain extent Batman needs to be bulletproof.
That seems really cool.
But then a single shotgun blast to the chest and he's like laid out.
Yeah, and then not only that, but the bolt action 308 sniper rifles, and he's taking shots from fucking 5 feet away. Point blank range, and he's like just walking it up. No, I'm sorry. You went way too far on that. Let's pull that back a little bit. He doesn't need to be completely...
Not year two.
He doesn't need to be freaking Iron Man bulletproof.
That's what he was too, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what he was.
He was
Iron Man bulletproof.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. It took me out of it because I was like, he's supposed to be stealthy and like supposed to like sneak around. There's an exact same shot in The Dark Knight Rises, I think, with Christian Bale, where he does the same thing. He's in a hallway. There's bad guys on the other side. They're shooting at him, and they use the muzzle flash to light up the scene. It's literally the exact same scene. Christian Bale doesn't get hit by a single bullet.
Yeah. Also, he doesn't.
Oh yeah, I know what scene you're talking about. Yeah,
he doesn't have any armor on his legs or on his mouth, and so like you're like, why not just aim for those?
Either of those, like take his knee out or something. It's just
that's the Captain America argument. How dare
they
you?
always aim with the shield?
Yeah, how dare you? Yeah.
But the shield is like literally a big target. Like aim for the target. No, I understand what you're saying. It's just
Batman's scary. You ever shot a gun at somebody walking you down? You have not.
No, I have not.
Yeah, that crap's scary, man. The slow walk out of the shadow. You don't like the slow walk out of the shadow?
It's not that I don't like it. I
love the slow walk out of the shadow.
It was good, but I'm not freaked out. I'm not freaked out by this Batman.
He's not like crouching in the rafters and jumps down on somebody. No, he just walks up on him and just starts beating the shit out of people.
For an example, right? So
beat the shit out of him.
Ben Affleck's Batman did something similar up against I think it was Lex Luthor. He was in the cell, right? The lights go out, and then you see this backlit, and all you see is the freaking ears, and it's Batman, but he's fucking huge.
Yeah,
that's an intimidating Batman.
Yeah.
This I didn't get that from this. I liked it. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying
you want in 6'4".
I want. Oh my god, that's
Jack Reacher in a Batman.
Oh my god, that guy.
Yeah, dude.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's the thing I want. I want the holy shit. Don't mess with that guy. I didn't get that from Pattinson. I'm sorry. I appreciate Pattinson. I'm not trying to throw shit at him. He's a good actor. There's something missing there.
I feel that. Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing I want to dump some salt on, I said bulletproof Batman is no good. Okay, so this is one of the biggest sins, and I think Kadish has talked about this before. When a character in a movie gets knocked out or passes out and wakes up in a completely different circumstance and nothing's changed, right? So that happened in this movie. Batman gets knocked out. Twice. And the cops take him from point A, we see nothing, to point, he's in the police precinct, laying on a table, and nobody touches him. They don't take his mask off. They don't ask questions. They're not looking at his jawline going, that looks like Bruce Wayne. Like, that was the dumbest thing ever.
I mean, the first time that happened, so like there's this like explosive collar that the Riddler puts on the district attorney
that he doesn't try to run away from.
And like you can see very clearly the countdown on this collar, and Batman's just sitting there as this thing's ticking down. And you're like, dude, do something Batmanish, you know. But instead he's just there and he tanks the explosion and gets knocked out, and then he wakes up at police headquarters.
Yeah, I thought that was the dumbest thing.
Weren't they like literally? You could hear the cops talking.
Yeah,
as he was coming out of consciousness.
Yeah.
It's like, wonder who that is under there.
Yeah.
Why isn't nobody taking a mask off? Who is that? Then he wakes up. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how long has he been out for? They took him from the funeral, put him in a gurney, and then
an hour.
Like, how long has he been asleep for?
At least 30 minutes, right?
Oh, at least 30 minutes.
It was so stupid. That was really dumb.
They should have had his ass in handcuffs and taking his little wrist rockets off and shit.
Are you going to throw some salt at the base jumping scene?
Yeah, where did that little outfit come from?
It's a very year one practical.
Exactly.
You know what?
Any crashes? I like it.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about it.
He's not the shit.
He ate serious
He
shit.
ate asphalt
hard.
Year 2. Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, they did something very, very similar in Batman Begins with Christian Bale when he confronts Gordon in his office and then he tries to escape and he jumps off the roof before he had the cape.
Yes.
See, what I liked more about Bale. So Bale did year 1 plus some in his first movie, right? He got all this shit over with, which is another thing I got to give credit to this movie. We didn't get the freaking alleyway parents dying scene. Fucking thank you.
Honestly, as the beginning credits are going, I'm like, do we have to sit through Martha and
Thomas Wayne
getting shot again by some random?
Thank God they didn't do that.
Yes, thank you. We get it.
Yeah, we understand. We know who Batman is.
We know where he came from.
Yes.
But yeah, I understood where they were going from with the wingsuit. It's okay.
I loved it.
Did you get the impression when he was up there on the ledge and he like activated?
That was his first time he ever did it.
Right. Like he just look on his face. It's like, I really hope this works.
For sure.
I really did never want to have to use this.
This was an oh shit moment.
Yeah, that's kind of the impression I got.
Yeah, totally.
It's like,
totally.
Here goes nothing.
Because he did. He pauses for it. He zips his suit up and he goes, oh shit. And he jumps off. I think it would have been even better if they did have him say something like that.
oh shit.
Yeah, like, oh shit, here we go.
Here we go.
And he jumps. But
Speaking of that, is there any comic relief in this?
yeah. Remember the thumb drive moment?
yeah.
There's
Really
like
Well, that wasn't funny.
it was hilarious.
funny.
He's like thumb drive, and he pulls the severed thumb out, and it's got a USB stick on it. I thought it was brilliant.
Well, there was that
like
line
Carrot
about,
Top
about
funny.
pulling your punch, and he's like, I did.
Yeah, it's very Batman. Yeah, it's very Batman levity.
But you know that part where basically like so he base jumps and he like pulls the cord on his parachute and it accidentally catches like
An underpass
this
or something,
underpass and he basically just like tumbles going 60 miles an hour onto the street and he gets up and he's just like, oh fuck, that hurt. And then like he limps away and then like the scene just like cuts to the next scene and he's like perfectly fine.
Yeah, he's no limp, no damage, nothing. He's got like a bruise on his back. Yeah, I think they nerfed that a little bit for sure. He's got some hell of armor though, dude. It's taking freaking shots from sniper rifles at point blank range.
I mean, here's all I know.
What was that big thing that he had attached to his leg?
Dude.
Oh, like a side pouch?
Dude, it was like a backpack.
Yeah.
Like on his hip.
It was probably his wingsuit. Right? Because where the hell did he get that thing from?
I don't know.
So he's got his cape. I think it's part of it is his cape. He like wraps it around him and then zips it up and it turns into a squirrel
inflates
suit.
it.
Yeah. I don't know the logistics of how that happened, but I bought it at the time when I was watching.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's
I
Batman.
mean, it is a comic book movie. You got to suspend your disbelief a little bit.
Well, they're trying so hard to make it not comic booky.
Right. Yes.
But they have to do some things.
It's like I said earlier. Can Superman and Wonder Woman be in this world?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Can Clayface and Killer Croc be in this world?
So along that line of thinking, I was 100% sure I was going to get Joaquin Phoenix at the end.
Yeah, we
were going to get that universe, but we are in some other universe, and apparently they've already announced it's going to be Arkham Asylum is the next The Batman movie.
Oh, did they announce it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I read because this finished 3 years ago. Like they're already in production for the next one.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm in for it. I'm down for a sequel. Let's see, what else do I have here? I'd like to talk to Kadish about this because he's the writer. He's the murder mystery guy. You know, you wrote your own murder mystery novel. I was kind of upset that Batman felt like he was a step behind the Riddler every time. Like he's supposed to be the world's greatest detective, and he's figuring out these clues, but he's figuring them out.
But
as he's supposed to?
Isn't everybody who's trying to hunt down a serial killer one step behind the 8 ball? Because
but this is Batman. He's supposed to. He's
like
he has 2.5 Batman
trying to solve the mystery
for a 3-hour movie, right? I would expect them to have him. I would expect him to be like behind the 8 ball for an hour and a half, and then there's something that the Riddler left behind that Batman is smart enough to figure out that puts him ahead of the game, above everybody else. But we went 3 hours of him being behind the 8 ball, and then a cop has to say, "Oh, I know what that is. That's a carpet freaking stretcher or whatever." And then Batman goes, "Oh," and he goes and figures out the puzzle. I'm like, come on, bro.
Wow. Okay. This is year 2.5 Batman, right? How old is he? He's young.
20s.
Yeah, he's very young.
Yeah.
So you got to think, okay, this is like 27-year-old Batman. That's just kind of getting we don't know what he did for the first 2 years. Apparently he locked away Joker. And apparently he probably had something to do with Maroni, right? It's probably tied together. But that's really all
He's
did.
besties with Gordon.
He's besties with Gordon.
They have a bat signal already set up.
Yeah,
So
he's done a lot.
some shit.
Well, it's
Yeah.
been a couple years, right? But I'm just saying he's still
So you forgave
young.
that? You were
yeah, because he's young.
All right.
He's the young Batman. He's
All right.
not the Affleck. Robin's already been killed. I've murdered everybody I can, Batman. Not the machine gun toting Batman. He's not
I
there
love
yet.
Machine Gun Batman.
I love machine gun Batman. He's not that guy yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
he's not
right.
that
Candace,
guy
what's your opinion on the whole riddle, murder mystery thing going on?
So it's okay to have Batman kind of behind the Riddler when the mystery is going on. The issue comes into play where Batman. So like typically what would happen is like once Batman catches the Riddler, the Riddler's like, well, you may have caught me, but like my plan is still in motion. And Batman's like, well, I figured out your plan and I put a stop to it. And so you're going to jail and
You failed.
you failed.
Yeah.
And, he does that with the Joker all the time and stuff like that. And so like, that's kind of like the big turnaround is that as Batman's investigating the mystery, he's also thinking ahead. It's like, okay, what's this guy's end game? And he figures out the end game. And then like he rug pulls the guy at the end. And in this in this movie, basically Batman catches the Riddler, but he kind of like the entire time he's investigating the mystery, he plays into the Riddler's hands in his attempt to kill Maroni. And so like he's basically like, you're right, he's constantly behind the Riddler. And then at the end, when he figures out the Riddler's end game, he does it too late to stop it. And that kind of undercuts the character too. Cause like the Batman from the comics would have figured it out early enough to save the city from like, this thing. Instead, like he basically like the city starts flooding. God knows how many people are being affected by that. And then he goes to try to save the mayor and has like that big fight. But you're right. The thing isn't that he was behind the Riddler in terms of like the mystery. It was that he didn't outsmart the Riddler at the end. And that's a real issue.
Yeah. That undercut the whole movie for me. Because at the end I was like, so the Riddler won? Like, is that the...
He kind of did.
Yeah. He accomplished everything he set out to do. Got done.
He exposed all the corruption. He blew up some levees. He flooded the town.
The only thing
He killed Maroni.
Yeah, he killed Maroni. But the only thing...
Falcone.
Falcone.
The only
Jesus?
do we mix the two of them?
Baloney.
To Jesus?
The only oh my god, dude,
Jesus.
dude, I could not stop thinking about that when he's in there and he's playing pool and shit. I just picture him freaking doing the ball sack thing, and I'm like, and he's supposed to be this big mob boss, and I'm
no
sitting
one
there.
fucks with the Jesus.
I literally said that line out loud. I'm sitting there, you're like, nobody fucks with the Jesus. So I'm like, oh man, I can't unsee that character from Lebowski, dude. It just it did take it. I feel bad for the actor because I think he did a fine job as Falcone.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's fine. But
I thought it was like weird casting.
personally, I could
John
not.
Turturro is a great Italian mobster.
Yeah. Personally, I
It
could
was
not.
weird casting.
I could not see the Lebowski in this.
Yeah.
That was my fault though. That's not the movie's fault. That's on me because I watched that movie a billion times.
He's a character actor. And the characters that stand out the most are it's one.
Yeah.
It's the Jesus.
It's the Jesus.
Yeah, he's a character in everything he plays. But that's the one.
Come Saturday, Dios a mí, we're gonna fuck you up, man. Like I wanted him to say that in this movie. That would have been amazing. All right, so I'm glad that you verbalized what I was saying because I felt like that was a big diss on this movie.
So like the biggest issue I have with this movie is that it doesn't treat Batman very well. And, I watched Ben Shapiro's kind of review of the film because he did not like it.
Ben Shapiro?
Yeah, Ben Shapiro.
Okay.
And he made a very interesting point about how like this movie does not like Batman and it kind of like undercuts him throughout like the entire film. And there is some credibility to that critique in the sense that, the whole theme of this movie is like, does Batman actually do any good for Gotham? What does it mean to like just be so focused on vengeance that, you overlook the victims when you're trying to punish the criminals? And, at the end when he like, it comes face to face with like the Riddler's mafia and that guy, they ask him like, who are you? And he's like, I'm vengeance. And it mirrors what Batman said at the beginning. And he sees like, oh, I'm no different from these guys if I just focus on, the vengeance aspect of this. And so like, it was a very like kind of like cynical take on Batman where, like the movie doesn't treat Batman very well. And it gets kind of glossed over because like all the mystery stuff's really cool, all the action scenes are really cool, but if you really think about the theme of it, they're kind of shitting all over the character, and it's kind of weird.
I didn't get that. I got that this was a very young Batman trying to come to grips with what and who he was, and that scene in particular was where he figured out,
I need to be more.
I need to be more, and who he is and who he's going to be going forward.
So like, I personally think that The Dark Knight is still the best Batman movie. And one of the things that Nolan did, which was very interesting, was that, so number one, he set up a reason why like a billionaire would dress up like a bat and go out fighting crime. Like that reason why is very important. We never get that in this movie. It's kind of implied, but you never get it. But the biggest thing is that, you know, the Nolan Batman realized that he was a symbol. He was meant to be whatever the city needed him to be. He could be a bad guy. He could be a good guy. He could be the savior. He could be, you know, the villain.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah, the Dark Knight. And so like the fact that Nolan's Batman was a symbol, it could serve to inspire fear in criminals, but it could also serve to inspire hope in the people that were downtrodden and were overlooked and stuff like that. And you saw that throughout the course of Nolan's trilogy, where Batman was equally terrifying and inspiring. And in this movie, Batman doesn't inspire anyone. And it's a very nihilistic kind of take on the character. And I didn't like that aspect of it, even though I did enjoy the movie for what it was. Like, it's a great detective story, but as a Batman film, I'm not sure. I think it might be a little bit overrated.
Well, it is definitely overrated for sure. I agree with you on that, but I have to disagree with you on the whole, like, Batman's not a symbol of hope. He becomes a symbol of hope in the last 10 minutes of this movie when he's in the water. He cuts that electrical wire, saving everybody in the water, goes down there, moves the stuff out of the way, saves that same boy that he saw his father die. He was kind of involved in that whole thing. He saves that boy, he lights his flare, and he guides the people out of that situation. That's the moment where he realized that he could, instead of being vengeance, he becomes hope. That's that moment in the movie.
He becomes the light in the darkness.
Yes, exactly. I think that is
literally.
So like, up until that point, your criticism is valid. He is kind of like a shitty hero. He's not very good. He's just focused on his own selfish reasonings. But at that moment in that third act is when that all changes. And I think we're going to see that storyline play through in the second movie, where he's going to be more of that hopeful.
Yeah, because he's a selfish character the whole movie.
Most of the movie, yeah. I mean, he does dumb things because of his selfishness. Like, he walks into the freaking iceberg.
Iceberg Lounge.
So
Iceberg Lounge.
basically, he's a hero now, right? So,
now, yeah.
So the second movie is gonna be
full hero.
The Joker turning Gotham against him.
Well, yeah,
right.
Possibly. There's a theory out there, because we get the Joker and the Riddler at the end of this movie. There's a theory out there that's going to be based on the comic book, where the Joker and the Riddler team up together to take down Batman.
I need to read that.
So yeah, I still think it might be Two-Face instead of the Joker. I think it might throw a
I'm down.
ball, but they've mentioned that they're seriously considering the Court of Owls for the sequel, and that the scene between the mysterious prisoner and the Riddler is not necessarily a setup for a sequel. Like, they flat out came out and said that. They could be lying, but
it's all right.
One of the things I am
Give us something different.
What I am tired of in modern Batman stuff is them shitting on Thomas Wayne. That's real. Like, it started with the Joker, where Thomas Wayne was some like corrupt freaking.
Well, that's the long
asshole.
Halloween. That's the long Halloween.
Is it?
Yeah, that's the long Halloween. Is Thomas Wayne a villain?
Yeah, that also leads into Hush, right?
Yeah, it leads right into Hush.
Oh yeah, because the Hush, it's a character that had something. I remember now. It's coming back to
the
me.
whole Falcone surgery thing, that's canon to Long Halloween, and that is a cartoon right now on HBO Max.
I have the book.
Totally worth watching.
Yeah.
Very good adaptation. But yeah, a lot of this was Long Halloween. So a lot of that, like, evil he's not evil, but like misguided Thomas Wayne. And it's like how a good man can get in a situation where he doesn't know how to get out of it.
Okay.
Which is why Bruce has to be the Batman, not the Bruce Wayne.
I like good Thomas Wayne, man. It's funny. I have the Long Halloween. I have the graphic novel, the whole thing. And I'm like, I was thinking about it. I'm like, I should read that before I go do the review. And stupidly, I didn't. So
and
now,
all of your Batman deep diveness this week, you didn't read that?
Do you know anything about the Thomas Wayne Flashpoint Batman?
Oh yeah. I've seen Flashpoint. I mean, I've seen the cartoon one, so that's about all I know.
That's fine.
If there's more,
no, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah, and his mom becomes like the Joker, right?
Alluded to.
Yeah.
What was interesting in this movie is they made Martha Wayne an Arkham.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh
right?
yeah, I liked that.
Yeah.
It was a twist I did not see coming, and also like really intrigued me, because now Batman has like a familiar familial. Is that the word?
Connection?
Connection to
Yeah.
Arkham Asylum,
Yeah.
which I love. I think that's freaking cool.
It is cool.
It opens a whole new can of worms.
I didn't dislike a lot about this movie.
I enjoyed the hell out of it.
The social justice crap kind of got on my nerves.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We don't need to go down that because we all were annoyed by it. It's just for no reason.
There's no reason at all.
Just referencing global
Negative half
warming.
point.
Yeah,
Automatic negative half star.
yeah. So they have a seawall protecting it. So it's a whole thing.
So,
but,
like,
all right.
On a whole, I really do enjoy this movie. I'm just saying that I think on social media and other reviewers, I think are overpraising it.
I do too.
I
think it's getting overhyped way to
agree.
hell. But it is a fun movie. It's a really good movie. I love the dark noir style too. Speaking of the noir thing, this made me laugh, and I don't know if it was supposed to make me laugh, but GC1, the news network for Gotham City, is the freaking darkest news network I've ever seen.
We're going to show you
They're
this video.
We're going to show you this video of rats eating this guy's face. Buckle in, folks. And they just play the freaking video, and I'm like, what?
Welcome to Gotham.
Welcome to Gotham, bitch.
Well, they normally cover such dark stuff. That's
normal.
Yeah.
But what I thought was goofy and bringing it to real life, I'm watching the news yesterday, and they're saying, we're going to show you this coverage, and it'll be pixelated up for your protection.
Yeah.
And they show it, and it's not pixelated. And it's these corpses of people in Ukraine
no.
just sprawled out.
Did they really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And they go back and they go, well,
The
that
technical
wasn't-
difficulties.
You know, and they just kept on going, didn't give a shit. I'm like, damn, man. It was just like, it was wild. Yeah.
It made me laugh a little bit.
I'll tell you the opening scene of this movie where basically the Riddler kills the mayor and then Batman comes into the crime scene and it's all very like 7-ish. Like I was intrigued from the get go. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
this is cool.
I feel like this. I feel like they should have gone another half step and just
Darker?
made it
R-rated?
movie.
Yes.
Yes,
Dude.
Batman should be rated R.
You know
So
what I
from
mean?
like
because they were really close. I mean, and they should have just gone.
when you
with
go
it.
back and watch 7, some of the murder scenes in that movie are horrific. Can you
Yeah.
imagine if they did that in this movie, dude?
I mean, listen. This movie's 3 hours long. It's super dark anyway. Nobody's taking their kids to this fucking thing. It wasn't. There was like maybe 2 kids that were like 13, 12, 13
I didn't
years
see any
old
kids in my
in the
theater.
theater when I went to
No
it.
kids for me.
So it's lost its kid audience anyway.
Right.
So just make it rated R.
Yeah.
Give
I
us-
would have been down for that.
You know what I'm
and no, I'm
saying?
not talking rated R like 2 F-bombs rated
No,
R. I mean, go
just-
full on like this is a murder scene where
Yeah.
somebody got eaten by rats. Here
Yeah.
you go.
Like, give me Saw or
Yeah.
7 with
No,
Batman.
7. I wouldn't go Saw, but 7 for sure.
But, I mean, they could have done this R-rated and it's still been good.
Yeah. I agree.
And I don't think it would have lost any of its audience.
I think it
at
would have
all.
made Dude, Joker rated R DC movie, freaking biggest
Yeah.
box office in the last 10 years.
Well, The Suicide Squad is the 5th highest watched movie on
and,
HBO.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've cracked the case on you can make a rated R comic book movie,
Yeah.
and DC has got an iron
No,
grip
we
around
don't
that.
want to put a rated R on Batman.
Yeah, some executives like we're gonna lose money on that.
Fuck out of here.
I think we've had this conversation before.
Yeah, we probably
DC
have.
should straight up just go R-rated.
Yes,
All of it.
It should be
straight up R-rated.
It should be the exact opposite of Marvel.
That is right.
That's
And
what DC needs to be.
And people would watch it.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to see Hawkman crush someone's head with a mace?
Yes.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
That'd be dope.
I mean, Peacemaker.
Peacemaker's super
Shit,
rated R.
dude.
Yeah, well, yeah, that whole and that why not?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
And that was still funny.
Fuck
So.
you, Barry.
I think that's it for my notes as far as like what I want to.
So what's your score? Give it a grade.
It's a 3.5, real fucking strong 3.5. It's not a 4. It's definitely not a 5. I know people out there saying it's a 5-star movie. It's not.
Not at all.
I think right now everybody's all built up in the hype, and I think as this movie ages, it's gonna fall somewhere underneath The Dark Knight.
Yep.
And you know, there's gonna be old school people out there who still like the Keaton 1989 Batman better, but I think it's gonna fall somewhere in the top 5 of Batman movies for me. But as of right now, 3.5. Real strong 3.5 though. Like definitely go fucking watch this movie. It's good.
No, it's
really good.
This is one of those movies that I'd liked and disliked at the same time. It's like how can you dislike and like a movie, right? And that really conflicts my score. But
What's one thing you would change?
like
Made
I
it
just
shorter.
said, I would make it
Shorter?
shorter and I
Yeah.
would make it more R-rated. You know, it's just
all right.
And
I
get,
see
get Pattinson a freaking trainer.
I see all these people out there that I think are overrating this movie. They're giving it 8s and 9s, you know, and I think it's too much. I'm gonna go. What's a 6 on a 5-star scale?
3.5.
3.5. No, is it? No, it's a 3, right?
I'm
gonna go 6 out of 10.
It's a 3 out of 10.
Are you doing 10 scale now?
6 out of 10.
Okay.
3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. A 3 is a
so
6.
lower than mine.
A 3 is a 6.
Okay.
Yeah, 3
So,
to 6.
yeah, so 3 out of 5.
Okay.
That's where I'm going.
Sounds low though.
It's not.
It's not
I
on a
don't think
5
it
scale.
is.
It's not low.
It sounds lower on a 10 scale, but 3 out of 5. It's
6 out of 10.
3 out of 5, 6 out of 10.
Sure.
You know,
Don't do math, people.
17 and a half battering.
Don't fact check us on that.
Yeah, whatever. So,
Okay. Kadish, what's your rating on this?
I really enjoyed this movie. I was very high on it coming out of the theater. Now that I've had some time to sit and think about it, some of the flaws have come to the forefront for me. It's still a very good movie. I still think The Dark Knight is probably the best Batman movie that's ever been made. But I have to give this one a pretty solid 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Like I thought that the mystery aspect, you know, I'm a sucker for mystery movies. Love that. I felt like this gave us a version of Batman that we haven't seen before, which was really cool. Love Collin Farrell's performance. I love the Batmobile chase in the middle of the movie. The whole aesthetic, the look and feel of it. Pattinson's Batman was pretty good. Didn't like his Bruce Wayne, but overall, like it was such a solid like entry into the Batverse that we haven't gotten. And I feel like we've been starving for a different type of comic book movie lately. Spider-Man was good for a Marvel movie, but this is like another level of the DC movies. And Zack Snyder had nothing to do with it, so it's instantly like much better than anything else.
why would you say that?
Instant 17 thumbs down.
You're gonna get. Now we're gonna have to deal with 30,000 replies. You fucking suck.
I will say Affleck. I don't feel like Affleck got a fair shake.
He did not.
Well, you know what's interesting is so like Ben Affleck actually wrote a script for his version of the Batman where it was going to be him versus Deathstroke, and when Matt Reeves came on to take over the project, he actually read Ben Affleck's script because he wanted to give it a fair shake, and he was like, you know what, this is really good, but it's more of an action adventure like style movie, and I want to do something that's more, detective mystery, and so like they decided to put the Ben Affleck script aside and go in this direction, and I think that was probably like a good thing to do. I am kind of curious about like Warner Brothers schizophrenia about like the DC universe, because they keep making these movies with major characters that kind of exist in their own like sphere. Yeah. But then like they keep flirting with like doing more like Snyderverse stuff, and it's just like it's very strange.
It's so strange.
Yeah.
They honestly at this point they need to just do one-off movies. Don't do the DCEU whatever bullshit Marvel style movies. Yeah. Just do one movie for each, like the Joker, the Batman, like continue on this trend.
And you could do some crossover.
Sure.
But we don't need the Infinity War.
Yeah.
We've seen it.
I feel like, that's what I feel like we're getting with, especially with Batman and this stuff, is like we get a parallel universe version of a Batman movie every time we get a Batman.
Yeah.
I will like,
so it's the only way you can approach this stuff. It's like, okay, what's this take gonna be?
Yeah. To mention your comment about like, I don't see Wonder Woman in this universe. Like Pattinson's Batman would get his ass kicked by Superman in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it's not even a question.
Yeah, that's not even a
that's
thing.
why
Judo Master would take it.
Fucking judo with his chips.
4 foot tall Judo Master would take Robert Pattinson.
But I will that's kind of what I liked about Ben Affleck as Batman, because he was so freaking huge. He looked like he could actually stand up against somebody like Superman and Wonder Woman and hold his own. So it's two different universes.
Except he ran and hid whenever Doomsday was on the field.
That's freaking
hell yeah.
What's it? Wouldn't you?
Yeah, when Steppenwolf was killing fools, he was just like, I'm going to be over here.
I want to be over here fighting parademons. What's my batarang? Peace out.
Immortal.
It's tough. It's a weird thing. I think the animated series does the best Batman.
Oh, by far.
By far.
Definitely
Kevin Conroy.
Well, DC's so fantastic that animation really is the best way.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just so fantastic. Everything you watch a Superman animated movie, a Batman animated movie, they're very good.
Yes.
The action's good. It's good. It's very good.
Mhm.
Even when they introduce weird characters, they're all good.
They're all good. Yeah.
It's the movies that are bad. And then if you watch Marvel movies, they're really anime heavy and they get really weird and have nothing to do with anything.
And let me ask this question. You guys are in charge of this new movie Pattinson franchise.
Oh, okay.
Pattinson.
What's
I like
Pattinson.
What would be the most far out villain you would feel comfortable putting against him up in this universe?
I could fuck around with Clayface.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
I think I could.
Like, what about you? What about Tom?
Give me a second. There's a lot of villains.
There's a lot of Rogues Gallery villains, man.
Well,
Kite Man.
Well, honestly, this is okay. So Bale's or Nolan's, whatever you want to call it, version, right? That was realistic.
Of Bane?
Well, you could do Bane because I'm arguing that he injected himself with venom. That he,
Yeah.
and-
I think so too.
Yes, that's what my argument is. He injected himself with venom,
Mhm.
and so Bane, very plausible. Why not?
Oh, sure.
And
But I need him to be South American, though.
I want a real Bane. I want the
Yeah.
luchador.
I want the
Bane.
luchador
Could-
freaking.
Could you do Mr. Freeze in this world?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Anything sciency, no problem.
Yeah.
It's just you can't do King Shark. It gets too weird. Some of the other, I mean, most of Batman's characters are pretty. I mean, I'd like to see Zaz in the next one. It'd be pretty cool. Zaz would be very
originally,
cool.
like Clayface was just a guy who was really good at like doing like makeup
Disguises
and
and
disguising himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I
like,
guess, I mean,
you
if
could go that way.
If you take the cartoony nature of Clayface, why not?
Yeah,
Take that out.
not animated series
Not that
Clayface.
one,
He's
not
like
that
a
one.
blob. That's really it's really strange. But
Poison
like,
Ivy would never work.
I don't ever want to see Poison Ivy again.
No.
I'm sorry, Uma Thurman freaking killed Poison Ivy.
Well, that movie is pretty bad.
That, like Harley.
So
Harley and Joker.
You can get Joker, you get Harley.
Yeah.
No, I don't even know if Harley would work.
You don't think so?
Harley would
No,
work.
I don't know.
A broken psychiatrist who
Mr.
teams up with Joker.
Maybe.
It doesn't have to be like New Jersey
I mean,
freaking.
Two-Face works. Penguin worked.
Yeah.
But they changed him. I don't see normal Penguin in this yet.
Well, yeah, no, not
yet.
4 foot tall, fat with his cigarette.
Yeah.
That's
but,
not.
But this was a believable Penguin.
Yeah.
Which
Right.
is I've never seen before. I mean, Danny DeVito's.
Oh God, I can't, dude. I
It's
can't
awesome.
with that
I mean,
movie.
it's awesome, but it's like, oh.
It's so gross, so grotesque. It's
So basically, I feel like they're taking the comic book out of the comic book movie. That's kind of how I feel this.
well, I mean,
world is.
there's gritty, realistic comic book adaptations out there
But
too.
it's still Batman.
Yeah,
still Batman.
Punisher, Daredevil, very gritty, but that's the Marvel stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, so final thoughts and give it a rating there, Tom.
I'm giving it a 4.5.
That's strong. 4.5.
Four,
So you're one of those people.
Not a 4.5,
Okay.
but like a 4, but like a hard 4.
Okay.
I think that the only bad Catwoman we've seen so far was Halle Berry's.
Yeah.
I think Zoe Kravitz is great. I thought Batman was good. I thought Bruce Wayne was terrible. Christian Bale's still my favorite Batman, but this one was fun and very different. And I just like the different. It's just different, and it felt realer and it felt dirtier. And I liked that road we're going down. And I want DC to find a freaking lane.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And just
stick with it.
Just give me something I can expect. I don't know what to expect from DC anymore. It's
Well, we're gonna get Black Adam and Aquaman
And that
2.
gets really out there.
Look, no one asked for any more Aquaman movies. No one asked for Black Adam. No one asked for Dr. Fate. No one asked for any of this, which I think is really weird.
But those movies are more closer to Marvel than
Yeah.
this. This is a different.
This is its own thing.
yeah.
Yeah, Dr.
It has to be.
Yeah,
This is in the same vein as Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Jason Momoa is not showing up.
No,
in
he's
this
not going to
world.
show up in this.
but
no.
like Vader said, where does this even fit in?
Yeah.
What is this?
It's a one-off.
What that sucks.
Nah.
It's a pocket universe.
It's gonna be a trilogy. It's a little pocket
But,
thing.
so
and then once
Joker's its own
and
thing.
this is what's gonna happen, right?
Everything's its own thing. I don't get it.
If they keep doing these Flash movies, right? Flash is gonna pop in and he's gonna
Fuck Flash.
freaking zoom through and find Pattinson beating the shit
No.
out of somebody
No.
and be like, oh, this is a weird place, and then
Well,
zoom out.
But now we're just in the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
And-
that's what they're doing.
I
They've
hate
got
that.
Keaton coming back too. He's gonna be in the new Flash movie,
I
dude.
know they're in the Flashpoint movie.
Yeah, they're doing the Flashpoint.
I know.
Tom mentioned Zoe Kravitz. Someone that we haven't talked about a lot in this interview is Jeffrey Wright as Gordon, and I didn't really hear a lot of like uproar about like them like kind of race swapping Gordon because it doesn't really matter.
I don't, yeah.
But Jeffrey Wright's so good.
He's really good.
He's such a great actor
Yeah.
that like you put him in anything, like he's going to elevate it. And I loved his take on Gordon. Like I really enjoyed
Speaking of other content creators, Critical Drinker had a fantastic point about the race swapping. Like sometimes race swapping is kind of like in your face, like what the heck. But for like a Batman, like nobody talks about Billy D. Williams being Harvey Dent,
No.
right? Like who gives a shit?
Wait, what?
Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, in the 1989.
1989.
Yeah.
Wait, what did you just say to me?
Billy D. Williams was Harvey Dent. Like nobody.
Hold on. Let me-
Like nobody talks about
you
that.
sure about
that's
that?
a race. That's a race swap, but nobody says anything because it doesn't matter. Like there's instances where
Billy D. Williams is a smooth
he's
motherfucker.
a smooth motherfucker.
That's Billy D.
Colt 45. Where's my Colt 45, man? Come on.
I have no memory of that.
No?
No.
It's at the
No.
very end when they reveal the bat signal.
Yeah.
And like he's just on there for like half a second. Basically.
Hey, he had a cape on.
Yes, he did. He had a big trench coat. Looked like a cape. Anyway, so the race swapping thing didn't, I don't care. It works in this movie. Now, I'll tell you what, though. If Gordon has a pale-skinned, red-headed daughter in the next movie, then I'm going to start asking some questions.
Yeah.
If Batgirl, like...
Well, that is a thing. Swapping out redheads with African Americans. That is a regular weird thing that happens.
there's so much evidence.
It's a really weird thing that happens all the time.
Very strange.
Yeah. Yeah, the redheads.
For real.
You hear that, Jude? There's a black chick in this chair.
All right, let's wrap this up. We did final thoughts. Everybody good?
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to say before we head out? No. That's it? You guys are good? Right?
That's all right.
Just to answer Vader's question, because you kind of skipped over me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Because of my I guess affinity for the Batman animated series, there was a character that they used in the Batman animated series, which I always thought would, they used him perfectly, and it'd be interesting to see like a live action version of him, which was Calendar Man, where like he's got like the stopwatch, like he knows like everything, like the exact time a train is going to be like coming by and like stuff like that. He just like he's able to plan out stuff so far in advance because of his knowledge that Batman can't keep up with him. And they used him in the animated series in a very interesting way. But there was also who's the weird guy with like the beard and the glasses that runs Arkham Asylum? That
Strange.
Yes, so like the Doctor
Hugo
Strange.
Like that might be a good way to go with like the sequel.
He is an interesting villain because he kind of rides the line of I'm not really a bad guy. So that would be a fun one.
He's a mad scientist.
Yeah, he's kind of like his thing. Yeah.
Yeah. We never touched on the fact that like it looked like Riddler had figured out Batman's secret identity, and then like at the end it turns out like he just did not.
Hey,
he was bluffing.
They were trying to snow all of us.
Yeah, Riddler was bluffing. Like, I know who you are. And then Batman's like, you're crazy. You're out of your mind. It's all in your head. And it breaks him. He's like, no.
No, that wasn't it. Because like when Batman goes to confront him at Arkham, it looks like he's calling him out as Bruce Wayne. But then it turns out that like he was just lamenting over the fact that he never got Bruce Wayne as part of his plan. And so like it never occurred to the Riddler that Bruce Wayne was actually Batman, even though it looked like he was like unmasking him at that point. Oh. So I thought that was just like kind of like a weird like almost gotcha.
Well, I thought that was going to be the last 30 minutes of the movie. Is what are they going to do with this information? And then they just got rid of that and then gave us some weird, we're flooding the city and I have minions. It was a weird end.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike it. It was just, I did not see it coming, which is good, I guess.
I didn't need any of that. Like just have him say, ooh, I placed one last bomb, and have that whole sequence of events be gone and just have him go save people after the explosion. Like, would it accomplish the same thing?
Yeah. I mean, Batman Begins is my favorite. And in that one, he fails pretty tremendously as well.
Was he always going up against Ra's al Ghul? No, he does. No, I just watched it.
Ra's and Scarecrow. Well, no, because they have the
But the train goes.
The atomizer or whatever.
Right, yeah. Right? It's ridiculous.
Right. They had the atomizer on the train, and then all of Arkham is gone.
Arkham and the long, what do they call it? The Narrows is toast, right? Yeah. But they have the inoculation so that they can fix people. And what he saves them from is they don't get to the main hub for the entire city. That's what that's the moment where Batman wins, is when he stops him from doing that. So he does succeed, but
he lost a lot of battles.
He lost a lot of battles.
But he won the war at the end.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, that's it, guys, for The Batman. What did you think? Are we completely wrong? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Comment below. Let us know. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you guys would like to join our club membership, go to saltynerdclub.com. There you are going to get access to a massive library of content that we do. We're doing 4 episodes per month for our club members, having to do with classic sci-fi. There's also t-shirts that you guys are going to have access to for a limited time as well. So head over there, saltynerdclub.com, and join the membership. Help support us. Matt Vader, where can they find you on the socials?
On the socials, you can find me at MattVader74 on the Twitter, the YouTube, here. We're going to be doing Saturday morning Salty Saturdays, Star Trek edition for the next couple of months. We're going to be going down all the Star Trek shows with the Saturday morning crew. Me, Matt, Danny the Dork Knight, and Brian from the Popcast.
Oh, nice.
Is going to be joining us for that. So.
Right on. Cool. All right. Kadish, where can they find you at?
You can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter. KadishBooks.com takes you to my Amazon page. And please go to saltynerd.com/rate, RATE, and give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, because we're trying to get 200 of those suckers in order to be officially accredited as movie reviewers over at Rotten Tomato. And that allows us to get like early screeners of stuff and, just gives us press credentials and some credibility. So if you guys can help us achieve that goal, we'd really appreciate it.
All right. Conspiracy Tom, where they can find you?
There's only one place you can find me.
Instagram.
Wherever justice is needed. No, if you really want to find me, I'm on Instagram, Big T2681. Say hi, like my pictures.
Right on.
That's it.
Cool. Thank you, sir. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you watching this video or listening to the audio. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll catch you guys next week. Stay salty.